Let me share with you a tip I learned late in life. These are cored sliced apples. And normally when you do this, you put them in a bag. Even if you put them in the fridge, they turn brown. Within like an hour, they'll start to turn brown. So what I found to prevent that, I'll use a scraper from Publix and a cores it and slices it, and then I'll fill a Dixie cup up to about there with lemon juice, and then about halfway with water, and mix it up. After you core these and slice them, drop them in the lemon water mixture and swish them around just a little bit, maybe about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And then when you take them out, make sure they stay a little wet and drop them in the bag so that they're still wet with the lemon mixture. And I've had these keep in the fridge up to about a week. I mean, I've always eaten them before the week was up, but they stay, like you see here, perfect. You can put them in your lunchbox, as long as you keep them on ice. But I'm amazed at how long they keep in the refrigerator. So I can do like 4 or 5 apples at a time, bag them and put them in the fridge. And lately, this is how I've been eating an apple every day. It almost tastes like candy. And you can't taste the lemon juice and water that's on these. The apples are just so sweet. And these just happen to be Cosmic Crisp apples. They've been in season lately and have been super, super good. Okay, thanks for watching. Starting early today. It's a little after 9. So the sun's a little lower in the sky. If I turn back this way, what does the sky look like? It's just blue. At least you don't see the mold in the side of the house, right? Or the side of the pole barn with the wood. Okay. Thanks for being with me today. It's Monday, May 15th, 2023. Comes a big plane. Let's see what it is. It's a turboprop. Twin turboprop. Good to see you again. It was only yesterday. From 8 to 9 in the morning, Leave It to Beaver comes on, 30-minute episode. Leave It to Beaver was around about the time the Andy Griffith Show, Mayberry. I Love Lucy, I want to say, was before that. I think the last episode of I Love Lucy was in the 60s, early 60s or something. Or maybe late 50s. Gosh, it's been around forever. But Leave It to Beaver at 9 a.m. Right now it's probably about 9:30. 9 a.m. Perry Mason comes on, another black and white show. One that I remember seeing as a kid. And it's like the Hardy Boy Mysteries. It's a bunch of murder mysteries. And it's probably why we like Law and Order, 2020, Dateline NBC, and stuff like that. Sorry. My voice was all messed up yesterday. And it can be aggravating if it has that rumble in it. So sorry about that. I was wondering If God should give you a long life when you're in your 60s, mid-60s, I'm wondering what type of shows or entertainment you'll be looking at. Sandy's trying to keep a bumblebee away from me. Who said cats ain't worth anything? I wonder what type of shows you're going to watch when you're 65 years old. But you can rest assured, have faith, and as God permits, I'll be watching over you. Just by the time you're that old, you'll start going to church again, and you'll have some faith. You probably got faith now. Have faith, and I will watch over you as much as God will allow. I wonder what shows you'll be watching. And you don't watch much TV now. Maybe when your kids are growing up and you've got cartoons or something, educational shows on for them, maybe that's what you'll be watching 40 years from now. In 1940, in California, the brothers Maurice and Richard McDonald opened a drive-through restaurant. 1940, the McDonald brothers. The rest is history. It's still going on today. Franchise. 1928, Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse made his debut with the premiere of a cartoon called Plain Crazy. I thought it was Steamboat Willie. According to the encyclopedia today, it said today was his debut, 1928, Plain Crazy. 1967, Ed Hopper passed away. He was a realist painter. His painting that you're looking at, I think it's called Chop Suey, and it sold for $32 million or something like that back in 2018. He's one of those artists. His stuff didn't do all that bad when he was alive, but when he passed away, all of a sudden his art became super valuable. That's Ed Hopper, Hopper. A lot of the paintings he did, half-nude women and stuff, was his wife Josephine. But there's some strange paintings he did. He was known as a realist, which means he would paint a scene where people were in a restaurant or sitting on the couch or the edge of a bed looking out a window. Just simple things like that. Alfred Hitchcock used one of his paintings. Forget what it was called. That's this painting for the house in the movie Psycho. The one that was in the movie came from Ed Hopper's painting. So he was an inspiration to quite a few people. His paintings were. But like the next one I'm going to mention didn't come into millions and millions till after he was gone. In 1886, Emily Dickinson died. She was a poet. And I will read some of her, one or two of her poems later. And it wasn't until she passed away that they found like 4 handwritten volumes or something like that of her poems and writings. There was a total of 1,800 poems. And she had sent poems. When she would write a letter to somebody, she would write a short poem to go with it. But it wasn't until she passed away that they found all these poems. 1886, and it came into a lot of money. She was avowed as a wonderful poet, but it wasn't until after she was dead. And they used to call them starving artists, right? And born on this day was a movie star called Joseph Cotten. Joseph Cotten is a famous movie star that I remember from a lot of the black and white film noir from my early life. Of course, we didn't have color TV. Maybe that's why black and white sticks out to me. It's usually not a lot of gory violence in them, not a lot of bad language, very simple movies, but sometimes can be intriguing dramas. Put this on your list of movies to watch. That star Joseph Cotten. Portrait of Jenny, always worth watching. Gaslight with Ingrid Bergman, excellent movie. Song of Bernadette, where he plays the parish bishop or priest or something. It's a semi-true movie about the miracle at not Fatima, Portugal. It was in Spain, I think. Bernadette supposedly had a vision of the Virgin Mary. To this day, people make pilgrimage to where the Virgin told her to dig in the dirt and eat of the plants. And everybody was there watching her. And like a pig, she started scratching up the dirt. She started eating the weeds that were next to there. And she took the dirt and she rubbed it on her face because the Virgin Mary told her to wash. Wash of the spring and eat of the plants. Everybody thought she was wacko and started walking away. So her parents were disgusted with her, picked her up, and they started walking back to town. And as they were walking back to town, there was just one person left where all this had happened, who was blind in one eye, I think, and he was hoping that this would amount to something. While he was sitting there, all of a sudden water touched his foot, and he moved his foot, and it touched his foot again. And he looked up, and where Bernadette had been digging, a spring had come out of the ground. And many miracles were attributed to the water from there. And if you go there or see images of it today, you'll see thousands and thousands of crutches hanging up and wheelchairs where people had been cured. And I don't think there was that many documented cures, but there was a few. There was one where a baby was born without eyes, actually had skin, born without any semblance of eyes. And as they put the water on the baby started crying like it was in pain. And little by little, they saw these holes open up on the baby's face. And the baby ended up with 2 perfectly good eyes and could see. I believe that's one of the documented miracles. Almost too much to believe. When you believe in the Matrix, that we're in a simulation, that God is the content creator, he can do anything, right? Jesus stopping the sea, feeding the 5,000 people, raising people from the dead. Yeah, it sounds like the Matrix, really. The content creator, he can do those things. There's nothing, absolutely nothing outside of his control. Nothing. I don't think we'll ever see how many times he had saved us from a car accident, or getting robbed or shot. All the danger we go through in life, and we don't see the times God intervenes, protects us. We don't even give him second thought half the time. And the fourth movie, this one's in color, it's called Niagara. It stars Marilyn Monroe with him. Excellent movie. Excellent movie. I won't tell you what happens, but Marilyn Monroe is in perfect figure. Good movies, all of them, with Joseph Cotten. It's Cotten. It is so nice out today. It's early, so the sun hasn't quite risen above the trees. Usually I'm out here between 11 and 12. Sorry. This, whatever's wrong with my throat will probably be revealed when I see the doctor. Hey, girl. Let's see if the girl's going to come up here. Come on. Here she is. Here's Sandy. Here's Sandy. Sandy Dandy. Dandy Sandy. She saved me from a bumblebee, one of those big black ones. Didn't you, Sandy? Yes, you did. You saved me from a bumblebee. I saw you. It was right here next to the chair, and you started chasing it. You chased it around back. Thank you, Sandy. See, we don't see these things. That bumblebee would have stung me. I probably would have went into anaphylactic shock. Would have passed away right here in the dirt. The hand of God saved me using this cat, Sandy. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. I think you got fleas. I think you got fleas, girl. I think I see one on your face. That's all I had today. I don't come in here with anything really to say. I didn't see any videos on Jim Howard, so I don't think he's doing well. He's definitely sick. Maybe they called an ambulance or something. It's kind of like the Road Warrior. They were up in the Carolinas for the eclipse in their fifth wheel up near Asheville, the Blue Ridge Mountains. Him and his girlfriend were on the Blue Ridge Parkway, somewhere up there, on their little scooter they carried in their toy carrier, their fifth wheel. And they got rear-ended by a drunk driver and seriously injured her, killed him. And there were no videos from them for a while. And then somebody made a comment, one of his last videos, about what had happened. And then as you researched the name, found out more about what happened. But I mentioned that because of Jim Howard. No video today, at least none that I saw. This is a poem by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words, and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. The next one, there's only bits of this second one in the multitudes of emails, thousands of emails, where I received emails from inspirational people who sent out email lists of inspirational stuff. And there's quite a few there. It was from a lady, I don't remember her name, but she would end her emails with an Emily Dickinson quote. And it's the last part of this next poem. I never saw a moor, I never saw the sea, yet know I how the heather looks, and what a wave must be. I never spoke with God nor visited in heaven, yet certain am I of the spot, as if a chart were given. Emily Dickinson, rest in peace, in over 100 years. Almost all of her poems came out after she had passed away. If you do any type of English literature, I'm sure that they'll discuss Emily Dickinson. But I read some of the story in the encyclopedia, and that stuff, historical stuff like that, just they talk about her life, her home life. She lived next door to her sister and her husband. Her nephew died. She was young next door, and that impacted her. It's interesting things like that. Well, sometimes we think life is so strange. How did people of old do things? It hasn't changed much in 2,000 years. Technology changes, but people don't. They're still just as good and just as bad as they've always been. Thank you, God, for this day, for the gift we've received from thy most gracious bounty, for all our blessings. We thank you and ask forgiveness for those who don't give you much mind. Your grace, O Lord, will work in their hearts, and eventually one day they'll recognize you and they'll realize that you were with them all along. Thank you, God. Thank you so very much. And might I ask we be reasonably happy in this life, supremely happy forever in the next. Sandy's going to save me from another bug. Sandy, I love you, sweetheart. I'm going to say bye to the people. Y'all look good today. Nice to see you. Nice to have a warm lap cat. If it was cold out, it would be even better. Take care of yourself. May God bless you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Sandy, you want to let yourself be seen? Come show yourself. Come here, Sandy. Here's Sandy. Sandy dandy. That's the fire alarm at the school. Fire alarm at the school's going off, girl. Good girl. You're such a good girl. Can't ask for a better cat than Sandy. She's available. Anybody wants her.